Hello and welcome to the third lesson on making presentations. I have my learner Andrew here with me. Andrew, how are you today?
Thank you.
That's great to hear. That's really great to hear. Any news, anything that's happened in between the last two sessions?
Well, it's like this. I had an ocean view from the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down the mountain, his birthday today.
Oh,
Yes.
very good. Very good. So this comes to the last presentation. In the first presentation, we talked about what makes a good presentation, what makes a bad presentation. In the second group, we talked about the planning for the presentation. We talked about a cup of coffee, the steps, and how we would deliver that 1 minute presentation. Do you remember much about the last two sessions, Andrew?
No, they've all turned into a blur,
Yeah.
but almost much the same. But I think that.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing.
Would you like to thank me just a little bit?
Yeah. So just to prompt you, when we're confident, we engage the audience. We use a good eye contact, good body contact. When we sometimes can use cue cards as help for presentations. We try to narrow it 3 to 4 points, and we seek feedback. One of the things, so what we're going to talk about in this last session is reviewing performance. Have you had much experience with reviewing performance? Would you like to share with me? Or
They're sort of informal and informal.
yeah.
And it's what you hear about your performance in the lunchroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's one. It's a pretty usually more accurate than any other.
Yeah.
But the other form is if you is by senior staff who report on how you went.
Great, great. So today we're going to talk about reviewing performance from our presentations. Um, we have two ways that we can review performance. We can review how we felt we went, and we can review how our supervisor or our work manager or our teacher thought we went.
Yes,
Yeah. Why do you think it's important to have the reviewing of the performance?
because self-assessment is generally inaccurate, and so just because you thought you went well doesn't. It's usually the other way around. You can believe you went really badly
Yeah.
when in reality you covered everything and you had a few minor errors that you believe caused you to fail, but really you just made a few minor boo-boos. And so getting exterior impartial feedback is really useful.
That's really good. Yeah. So sometimes we're not very kind on ourselves, are we?
No, no.
No, no. Um, now, I'm guessing that in between these sessions you've had a bit of a chance to do your own presentation. How do you think your last presentation that you did went?
When I had a cup of tea,
Yeah, yeah,
I felt like I needed a little to get started. But
yeah.
once I get started, it was so obvious that I thought this is not hard.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. And I thought you did a really good job. I thought that
It's not
you,
your job to say that I'm doing
yes.
a very good job.
I thought that you really did well on the ACE technique.
Yeah,
Um, what we're going to do today is we're going to come up with some strengths and areas for improvement. How do you think? I know it was just you and me doing the cup of tea, cup of coffee presentation, but how do you think what your audience was for the presentation?
so what do you think my audience?
How I know it was just me, but what did you think? Did I look engaged in your conversation, or do you think I was bored with your cup of coffee presentation?
No, I think you were engaged and you were relieved when I got through the minutes.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And how did you feel doing the presentation? You said before that the first 15 seconds was quite nerve-wracking.
Yes.
After the first 15 seconds, how did you feel you went?
I thought I went really well because the subject matter is well below my ability. So I felt really confident.
Yeah, yeah. So what you're saying is if it was for a harder topic, you'd
Be more anxious.
be more anxious.
Probably remain anxious for longer.
Yeah, yeah, true. I'm just wondering too, in the community service industry, A lot of our students, I've mentioned before, a lot of our students will do a presentation when they're on placement.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of special area of interest that you would like to do your presentation when you're on placement?
Yes, I would like to do it about making one collage for elderly clients.
Okay. Yeah. Would you feel confident doing that?
Oh, yes, I know a lot about one colour collage.
Okay. Okay. So not really nervous.
No,
No.
only initially to get started.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I would be nervous because I have to engage my audience with one colour collage
Right.
when it's probably not something they're very familiar with.
Okay. So yeah, you have to sort of engage them. Yeah.
Yes, and I have to convince them that one colour card that there is enough variation in one colour to make colours.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked briefly about this too, about visual aids. You could make the collage and show it in your presentation.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, definitely.
And then they could see what you're talking about.
That would help a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, have you used, like, I think I asked you before, Andrew, but visual aids?
Actually, you wouldn't even have to make your own because there's plenty of one colour
Collage.
collages out there to present.
Yeah. 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 What other visual aids? So you were saying that you would use the color collage, and you were saying in the first sentence that you're not really confident with PowerPoint. Have I got that correct?
Yes, absolutely. I really like hands-on stuff rather than hiding behind text.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes we can use different things for PowerPoints for presentations as well. You could bring the one color collage. Can you think of any other way that we could have a visual aid without that PowerPoint presentation?
Well, if you had a magazine, you'd have a magazine
Yeah,
and you would tear or cut some and explain the collage as you went.
yeah, yeah. So you could do
Well,
it in a moment.
I would make the collage alongside the client and I would be cutting up I would start
Yeah.
with the clients and then my aim would be to get them to be able to do it on their own.
Yeah. So it sounds a bit like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds a bit like that doing the collage, the clients would have a bit of a chat with you while you're doing that as well. And it's not just about the collage, it's about a tool for interacting with our clients. Would that be right?
Yes, it can be, but the collage can be an end in itself as well.
Yeah. So for
Well,
some
you
people,
want the clients to believe that the collage is an end in itself,
yeah.
even if other stuff happens on the journey.
Mm, mm. So some clients could interact and some could just do the collage.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's sort of like open kind of communication.
Yeah, and at their pace.
Yeah.
Really, it's not like you're saying now you've got to talk about your collage.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked a little bit too. You were saying that you would deliver the presentation on your collage.
Yes.
One of my questions for you, and do you remember the ACE technique? What does ACE stand for, Andrew? Acknowledge,
Knowledge is
clarify, explain.
yes,
So one of my questions for you
yes,
is you're going to do this presentation on placement about collage.
yes.
And it's going to go for 10 to 15 minutes. How many points are you going to have in there? Do you remember how many we used
I
to?
know how many we have to have. I know how many we would have in theory.
Yes,
But
in
I'm
theory.
just thinking through from the point of view of making a collage. It's no use having a theory that says 3 points and you leave it at the last point that says cut up the paper. So you probably
Yeah.
you might have 4 or 5 points for the one colour collage.
Yes, and you would keep it simple.
Yes.
Yes. So, using that ACE technique, which is acknowledge, clarify, and explain, my question for you, Andrew, is what are we going to do in terms of scissors and the risk for the clients?
In terms of scissors,
Scissors, you use scissors, and they're going to cut the things out.
yes.
What can you do to mitigate or minimize the risk from them having scissors?
Well, I would assess the client first whether there was a risk from pointing scissors.
Mhm.
If I decided there was a risk from scissors, I would have scissors with round with no points, with round edges,
Yeah.
and blades that were really difficult to use for anything else apart from paper. So specific scissors for the job.
Yes. So I'm going to practice. I'm going to ask you, and you're going to acknowledge,
Yes,
clarify, and explain.
yes.
Andrew, what would you do about the risk of scissors? Knowledge?
Well, that's a really interesting question because numbers of people who work in community services have had injury from scissors, and so most people are aware of scissors, and so so it is an issue.
Okay.
But in the end, I would make sure that the scissors were safe for everybody.
Okay.
And
Fantastic.
I'd have the same scissors for everybody. I wouldn't narrow the clients who are dangerous to say you
Mm.
have to have round scissors and you lot are so good that you have pointy scissors.
Yeah. So you wouldn't single them out.
No,
No.
definitely not.
No.
No,
Fantastic.
that's going to be the last
That's
thing. Isn't
you
it?
don't want to do. That's really good. I liked how you acknowledged the question, clarified it, and then you explained what you would do.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the next bit.
Or I've got another thought. If the scissors were dangerous
Yeah.
for everybody
Mm.
or for any of them,
Yeah.
I would give them no scissors
Okay.
and they would have to tear the paper.
Yes. 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 So it would also depend on where you went on placement. Now I know some of you get your placement early, but some people find that a little bit later where they're going. It would depend on who your cohort was and their history, and like you were saying, you would assess the risk.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely, yes.
Great. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk about is we're reviewing our performance today, Andrew. Can you tell me about some of the strengths in your presentation around the cup of coffee?
Well, obviously, knowledge of the subject,
Yep, fantastic.
um, being able to identify the steps and communicate the steps.
Yeah, yeah. So knowledge of the subject and being able to communicate. Yeah.
Yeah, the steps, as well as acknowledging the need to make the benefits of making coffee.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you were saying before too that after the first 15 seconds you felt really comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah, right. Um, so you said too that your knowledge of the subject is really good and your communication skills are good too. What makes a good communicator? Do you remember from our first session where we talked about the strengths and weaknesses of presentations? What were your strengths in that present? What were your communication strengths in that 1 minute presentation?
confident body language,
Yeah,
familiarity with the subject.
fantastic, fantastic. Okay. Um, if you were going to improve your performance, what would you do?
I minimise my nerves for the first 15 seconds with breathing exercises or just a simple diversion.
Yeah,
Uh, like counting to 5 might be just a diversion and then start.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're the main thing. And maybe I work on my conclusion so I come to a clear end.
That's what you would want to improve on.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
is that, ah, do you think those are some of the things I need to improve on?
Yes, I do. I think that reminding them at the end about what was in the middle is a really good step.
Yes,
Um, and the other thing I want to touch on too is what about like just throwing it out there? I know we're doing the video and we don't have a lot of resources because we're in Rome at the moment, but um, some visual cues. Would there be some pictures that you could take? Because if you were doing the 1 minute presentation and you wanted to improve on the 1 minute
real props, real coffee, real cup,
presentation,
real boiling water. Yeah.
you could do it in front of them. You could show them in front of them.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that would work better. Yes,
Yeah. And would you let the clients have a go at making a cup of coffee after you taught them the 1 minute?
yes, because if they're not safe to do it, they probably shouldn't go to the presentation.
Yes.
If they're going to burn themselves, well, or burn others, they're
Yeah.
not going. And if they're capable of doing it, well, they have a go after the presentation.
Yeah.
And it takes time to figure out how much 15% milk is. You're not going to, you don't want them measuring it every time.
Yeah.
And if they do need to measure it every time, well, then you adjust the process and say, um, you have a little measuring jug to measure the milk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're saying that you could do the visual aids in front of them. You were saying you're not really a big fan of PowerPoint, but you could get the cup, and you could get you could get the cup, you could get the coffee, you could get the kettle, and you could make it in front of them.
Yes, and all those things are readily available.
Yeah,
They're not specialist items.
no, no, no. So that's you've gone through the strengths. You talked about the improvements, maybe doing the visual stuff as an improvement. What kind of measurable action could you take for your next presentation? Like, what would you want to work on between now and when you do your diploma of community service presentation? What sort of things do you want to work on between now and then? You've got a couple of months until you go on placement again. What would you want to work on with your presentations?
So I'm completely confident that I can do the presentation.
Yeah,
The anxious thinking I haven't prepared enough.
yeah. Saying to you that you want to do your
I would like to balance that with not wasting time being over prepared, but self assessments it's hard. So basically, you do have to over prepare.
yeah. So over prepare. That's what one of the things you would do.
Oh, no, I want to be properly prepared.
Yeah,
We want to admit to being over
prepare.
prepared.
Yeah, yeah. What else could you do?
You could just do some breathing exercises so you're familiar with how to do them quickly and quietly.
Yeah,
And work on what diversions I'd have. Oh, I would look at my presentation and work out what questions I would ask
yes.
if someone doing this similar.
Oh, that's a really good one, isn't it?
So I'm
Yeah,
interested in their
gents. Yes.
putting in a friend to look at my presentation and pick out what questions they would ask if different people will see things differently.
Yeah, yeah. What sort of, like you were saying, you want to do your presentation on one colour collage
Yes,
with clients to the staff when you're on placement. Have I got that right?
yes.
Yeah. And you were saying too that your friend, that you would think about some of the questions
That could be asked.
that could be asked. What do you think they could ask?
I could ask, how can you make a one color collage work? It's just all pink.
Yeah,
And you would talk, well, pink can be almost red, it can be almost purple, it can be almost brown,
yes.
and you can leave white the colour of the paper between it. The pink can be so dark that that it's nearly black.
Yes.
So that's one of the questions they're going to ask you.
Yeah.
How can you make one colour eyes into a picture when it's only all the same colour?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the main one. The other one is where do you source the material with enough colour? Do you buy the sheets of coloured paper or do you only use colour out of magazines? If you use colour out of magazines, often you think it's all pink,
Yeah,
and when you look at it, it's got light and shade, and some bits are pink of another. So when you want a sharp colour, probably board paper is better, but it depends on the budget.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So the topic today is about reviewing performance.
Yes,
And we're sort of saying that you haven't done your diploma community services presentation yet, but you've done the 1 minute presentation on making a cup of coffee.
yes,
And you were saying too that there's self assessment and then there's also assessment by the lecturer
yes,
or the manager on placement.
yes.
Why else would reviewing performance be important?
Well, so you can do it better.
Yeah, yeah,
Or, or you can do it all, but you don't waste more energy doing it better because you're doing it right anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you ever reviewed like I know that sometimes in class you'll do presentations with other teachers, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever reviewed someone else's presentation or like given feedback on someone's presentation?
Yeah.
What sort of feedback did you give them?
Oh, because they're my classmates, I try to be as positive as I try to be positive.
Yes.
And as I'm only a classmate, I leave out anything that they've stuffed because I have to work with them.
Yeah. So it's hard
And
to be
so
critical.
so classroom, so that it's not accurate, but it's polite.
Yes. So sometimes it's hard to say things. If they completely stuffed it, it's hard to point that out.
Yes, unless they know.
Hmm.
But if they know they've completely stuffed it, well, then you would point it out, but you wouldn't overshow.
So, yeah. Yeah. So what about, so you've given them the feedback before to other people.
Yes,
Have other people given you feedback before?
yes.
What sort of feedback did they give you?
Well, yes, other students, I found them, they always gave me polite, positive feedback.
Sure.
And paid staff tended to give me good, but not always 100% positive feedback.
Yeah. Do you think that there's such a thing as the perfect presentation?
No, that's a bit like only our luck is perfect.
Yeah.
And there will be no presentation.
Presentation.
And different people in the classroom will have different interests and see your presentation differently. So it's not like you're working towards perfect, you're working towards getting your subject matter across.
Yeah, yeah. And in the first session, we talked about the psychiatrist that you saw, and he gave a presentation, and you were saying that the audience was really engaged and that
Yeah.
it was a good presentation. And do you think his presentation was perfect?
Considering his circumstances, it was where he has to communicate with 500 people who don't have New York Jewish heritage.
Mm.
He did an amazing job.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And did you give him feedback or not? Did you?
No,
There's 500 people. It's kind of
no, it
difficult
was
to
really just clapping at the end of
end.
each 3 hour session.
Did he talk for 3 hours?
Yeah, and then you have a break extra.
That's incredible. So
Yeah, well, some
that's a
people,
lot different from our 15-minute
yeah,
presentation.
but some people are just gifted.
Yeah, yeah. And some people prepare a lot too. Do you think he did a lot of preparation for his, or do you think he
No,
did?
no, I don't. I think he knew his subject matter really well. And like when people, he left the time for questions, and you
Yeah,
could give written questions to his paid staff,
yeah,
maybe give him the questions,
yeah.
and he could just rem, he could just spend, spend 20 minutes answering one question without any extra effort.
Wow. Okay.
So some people are just amazing at
Yeah, yeah.
presentation.
And I think too, Andrew, it's one of those things that you just build up. You start off, we've done the 1 minute presentation,
Yes,
just build up and up and up. He would have probably started at one point in his life with 1 minute presentations
yes,
and building up to those 3 hours.
yes, probably. And you don't know when he was a child whether he was always doing humour in the centre of attention or he built up to it over the years.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And do you think he has measurable actions for the next one, or do you think he was really comfortable with his present? Like, do you think he
Oh, yes,
could we,
he would have done so many before that he would go, yeah, this is what I do.
Yeah,
This is part of what I
I
do.
do. Yeah, yeah. So there's a looking at it from your lens and looking at it from the assessor's lens.
Yeah,
And you were saying he's done it so many times. Practice makes perfect. Too. Well, you're not going to be perfect, but practice makes you better.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. But it's always genetics plus environment
yeah.
equals whatever happens.
Mm. So we've been talking for nearly an hour and a half. We've done 3 sessions.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's just flown.
yeah, yeah,
They've been just absolutely amazing company here.
yeah, yeah.
And the subject matter's just been absolutely riveting.
Oh,
So,
glad to hear.
and I've just learnt a little,
Okay,
I
okay.
thought I had a bit of ignorance and arrogance, and I thought I knew a lot. Yeah, it's nice to see it
Yeah,
like that in,
yeah.
in a formal format.
So what's going to happen is that we've done the content part of this
Yeah,
making presentations unit. The next part is when you're on placement, you have to do that presentation.
yeah,
And we've talked a little bit about you want to do the presentation of one colour collage with clients.
yes.
And this is coming up. I'm just wondering, after this hour and a half, how comfortable and ready would you feel to do that presentation?
I'm quite comfortable because I'm familiar with the subject, and I've got to know the staff on placement because I can talk a little,
Yeah.
and I'm confident that the subject matter will, as it progresses, will get them going,
Yeah. Yeah.
will get them thinking.
So you feel like, what would you give yourself out of 10 for readiness?
Today,
Yeah, today. After we've gone through three sections. We've gone through what makes a good presentation.
yeah,
We've gone through doing a presentation, and we're talking about performance. How ready do you feel to do the presentation on placement?
oh, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay. What?
After knowing what we've gone through over these three sessions, how well prepared do you think I am?
I think probably 8 or 9.
And what colour do you think I will pick for the one colour collage in the presentation?
I don't know.
You have no insight.
Maybe pink.
That sounds a likely choice.
Yes. Yes. So you're feeling comfortable and ready.
Yeah.
What sort of things have stood out for you in our contents around making presentations?
Oh, but there is but format's important.
Okay. Yeah. And what about format? What do you remember from that format?
Uh,
ACE? Do you remember the
yeah,
ACE?
yes, ACE is really important.
Yeah. Great. 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 Okay. Well, so um, we're gonna we're just about at the end. You
Yes,
told me a little bit things about you're gonna learn. If I was gonna do this 3 lessons again, which I might have to one day,
yes.
what would make it better?
Oh, tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tech's the one that went the point
Yeah.
today.
Yes.
Tech, yeah, it's probably the main one.
Yeah.
A little bit more empathy meant for me, liking pink highlights would just go a long way.
Like,
Um, a little more conversation about the smell of decaf coffee over real coffee.
yeah.
That would be important as well.
Okay. I think you've done really great today.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not going to mark you as competent until you do your presentation.
yeah,
Um,
that sounds fair.
Unfortunately, due to the number of students
Mm,
in the diploma service, we ask that you record your presentation on placement. That way, I can watch the presentations later.
okay,
Yes,
that's fine.
yes. So after you've done your presentation, and one of the things we look for in the assessment is that 3 to 4 points, the ACE technique,
Yeah,
and 10 to 15 minutes presentation.
yes.
Then that's what we're assessing. Yep. Before we finish up, is there anything you'd like to add for this video?
No, I'm really comfortable how it went.
Thank you.
Thank you.